My girlfriend, so all these people behind me were just kids. They were toddlers. They had bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. I looked after them all, each and every one of them.
You did my breast.
You did my breast.
I got them on the straight and narrow. I did their tax returns. If my wife ever found out what it cost me for theater sports over the years, she wouldn't be with me these 49 years.
Or if the government found out.
Yes, exactly. My kids all came to theater sports, and they loved it. And I brought many friends down, and many hundreds of thousands of young people who used to come to theater sports. That was the best part, was bringing in the schools or taking theater sports out to the schools. It was really terrific, and it's really great to see all of these people behind me and so many more that I can't see. I found theater sports in 1980-81, and I fell in love with it. I did workshops with Dave Foley and the kids in the hall, and so many people that have gone on that I watch on TV and movies that have done so well, and those that not necessarily haven't done well but still do theater sports, and it's always a pleasure to see them. If I think back to one of the really great evenings of theater sports, and I judged a lot. I got blue bricks thrown at me. I couldn't give away blue bricks. I had bags of them at my house. Nobody wanted them in those days. They thought it was the worst thing imaginable in theater sports. That and profanity. They got zeros from me for profanity. Frank Van Keeken hated it. But one night there was a team that played in theater sports called the Urchins of Venice. They were one of the first theater sports teams, and they comprised a fellow named Rob Nickerson and Ennio Masharon. I don't know if you know their names. And Linda Cash and Jenny Parsons and a fellow named Cameron Brown. And they played a game one night where they asked the audience, tell us what just happened. And somebody yelled out, a spaceship has landed. And we were in the brigantine room at Harborfront, which was our big room, and there had to be 200 people in the audience. And the lights go down, and the lights come up, and Ennio Masharon and Rob Nickerson are on the ground with Petren rifles in their hands, crawling along the ground, approaching a spaceship that has landed. And they're questioning each other as to who's coming out of the spaceship. What do they look like? What could they be? Where could they have come from? And as they're talking and thinking what it was, one of them says, a door is opening. And I think I see something coming out, at which point one of their partners throws out a shoe on the stage. And they start to describe the shoe and the shoelaces and what it looks like. And then another shoe came out. And then another shoe. And then the audience started to throw shoes. By the end of the scene, there were 400 shoes on the stage. Everybody in the audience had thrown down. When I think back, that had to be one of the greatest just improv scenes that ever happened. Just everybody used to get involved with it. And that's what used to happen. People used to almost beg to come up on stage. They hated to be up there, but they came up anyway. And when they came up, they came back for workshops. Young kids, we did workshops for young people on nights of the week where we didn't charge them anything, except Harborfront was hard to get to. Now Harborfront is easily accessible. But it's great to me that it's lived on. It's wonderful for me that I can clean up my basement because I've got boxes of pictures. I had bags of blue bricks that are long gone. I've got videos. I've got outtakes from every network in Toronto because they came down for every tournament that we ever did. And it's really wonderful to see the people that I've seen tonight that I haven't seen for the longest time, who I always thought of as my kids in the hall. And it's really wonderful to see them here sitting behind me, and I'm sure they're sitting out there too. Mary Haynes saved us. She got us a bingo license, and that's where the cash came from. And that kept theater sports going for a lot of years. It paid people salaries. We had artistic directors that got paid dollars and cents instead of just thanks. And it paid for a lot of the things that we went on to do. And it really pleases me to see people here tonight. And I thank you all for being here, and I thank you guys all for remembering me. I see them all on Facebook, and I looked at the pictures. I don't know if anybody saw the pictures on Facebook, but they were talking about people who came and left theater sports. Dan Gallagher, I don't know if any of you even know or remember Dan Gallagher. He's in one of the pictures. Tim Sims, the Tim Sims Comedy Award that they gave out at Second City, performed at theater sports with Wendy Hopkins, and a lot of terrific people. You could go on and on and on. I got a list that I brought down that must have 200 names of people that played and came back and brought their kids back, etc. So it really does me good. I'm not going to cry. But my daughter, who's here, my oldest daughter, she played in theater sports. She played in a scene. We played at where the Buddies and Bad Times Theater is. I don't know what it used to be called. I can't remember it.
Toronto Workshop Productions.
Toronto Workshop Productions. We performed at Toronto Workshop Productions, which is an amazing theater in the round. And Dana came down on stage, and she was an expert in teaching light bulbs how to dance. And Brian Nasimok, who was hosting or doing the show that night, asked her about different kinds of light bulbs. One of them was a tri-light. And she said they're very good in ballet and tap and other steps. And what about fluorescent lights? They're very good in doing the French dance, the kicking out of your legs, etc. But all my kids were in theater sports stages. I got pictures of them. And my wife supported me for many, many years. And then she stopped supporting me. But I still came. I ran theater sports out of my accounting office. I was an accountant and I specialized in the arts. I took so many dozens and dozens of people and set them up as to how to do tax returns, because even though they were in the arts, it was a business, and a lot of them didn't know. You could see them walking up and down Green Street picking up invoices from restaurants and saving them for their tax returns. But thank you all for coming and supporting the people that carry on with this thing, and it's really great to know. And she's right, it is 30 years, give or take a little bit. We incorporated in November of '82. As a non-profit charitable organization. You couldn't get a license like that today. They don't give them out anymore. And it's never gone bankrupt. It's never lost money. It's always been close to the wire. But it's great to see. It's great to see people like Barry and like Amy who are carrying on in Oakville and here and across the city. There were only 3 comedy venues in Toronto. There was Yuck Yucks, Second City, and Theater Sports. And if you weren't doing theater sports, you were doing Second City. Many, many people came out of theater sports and ended up on main stage Second City in every aspect of Second City. They've got Kevin Frank, who's there now, doing workshops. Even my daughter, who's here with me now, her baseball coach, Colleen Beaton, is managing, I think, at Second City. Kevin Frank, all of them. Anyways, I could be up here for hours, but I won't. Thank you very much.